Hey everyone, it's Sarah and today I am back with another subscriber requested video. So I was recently asked to do an updated amber video, and amber fragrances are some of my favorites, so I was super excited to pull them out and yeah, to be able to do an amber video. So of course I've got a ton and I'm gonna jump right in. I've also got new ambers, like I've got more and new ones since I did my last amber video. So the first one I'm gonna start with is this one here. This is one that I picked up off of Mercari. This is from Parfum Grey. I think that's how you say it, G-R-E-S, Parfum Grey. And this one is called Etat de Grace. And this one is beautiful because this one, number one, it's a little bit more perfumey than a lot of the ambers I've got in my collection. And number two, this one has a real brightness to it. It's really, really bright in the top. Now, don't get me wrong, it does dry down on my skin to smell like a pretty traditional kind of heavy amber. But this one has got some rosemary and some violet in the top. It's got cinnamon, it's got a couple different kinds of rose, and then amber, labdanum, patchouli, kind of your usual suspects in an amber. It's beautiful though. I love this one because again, this one is a little bit perfumey and it's really bright in the top. And it doesn't get really resinous until it dries down on your skin. It's a beauty. If you ever run across this one, and you love ambers, I highly recommend it. It's a really, really nice one. So anyways, that is Le Snail de Grey, Etat de Grace. Okay, next, this will be no surprise to any of you to see this one. I've had this in my collection for quite a long time. I've talked about it a ton when talking about amber perfumes, and I love it. It's one of my favorite. I always go back and forth between this one and Histoire des Parfums, which one is my favorite. I love them both. This is L'Eau d'Ambre Extreme from L'Artisan. This one is definitely much heavier than the Etat de Grace. This one is sweet and really resinous smelling, but this one kind of reminds me of the inside of an antique shop. It's got, I don't know, it's got this kind of like dusty book quality to it that I adore. And I think the reason it's got that kind of dusty book quality to it is because it's got a slight powderiness to it that you definitely don't get in the last one we talked about. Etat de Grace does not have a powderiness to it at all. This one definitely does. Yeah. This one's basically the same kind of a makeup. It's got some floral notes in it. I don't know exactly which ones because I usually use Fragrantica to look up fragrance notes on, and they don't have the exact notes for this fragrance. But I'm sure it's got some floral notes in the top. It's got some, I think it's got some cinnamon in it as well. And then again, amber, vanilla, labdanum, patchouli, kind of your usual amber suspects. It's a beautiful one though. And the reason that this one stands out is again, because it's got that kind of dusty book quality to it with that touch of powderiness to it. And I love it. And because of that, it's really, really cozy. Like more cozy than any of my other ambers, except for Histoire des Parfums, which we'll get to that one. But anyways, that is L'Eau d'Ambre Extreme from L'Artisan. It's such a stunning amber. Okay, next we have got this one here. This is from Boucheron, and this is called Ambre d'Alexandrie. And oh my gosh, I love this perfume. In fact, I think that this is how me and she's almost like a twin flame to me. I say my friend all the time, but I feel like she's almost like a sister. We talk all the time. We're exactly alike, and I just adore her. It's like having a twin flame. It's like we were twin sisters in a past life or something. I don't know. But anyways, I think this is how we became friends. Is she told me about this perfume because I was looking for a clone of Hermes Ambre Narguilé, which I've got Ambre Narguilé, but I've got it packed away, so it's not going to be in this video, but I do have Ambre Narguilé. But anyways, I was saying that I was looking for a clone of Ambre Narguilé, and she told me about this one, which I immediately picked it up, and it is very, very similar to Ambre Narguilé. I love this perfume so much. This is what I like to refer to as kind of like an apple pie amber. I have no idea what makes this smell like apple. but there's something about it that it smells like a spicy apple pie. It's really sweet. This one's got some tobacco in it too, and that's really where a lot of the sweetness comes from. It's a really sweet, like pipe tobacco. Oh, it is so, so nice. It's so cozy and lovely, and this, I would also say that this is like one of my favorites. The only thing that keeps this from being like one of my top favorites, like the L'Artisan, is it's not, I feel like this isn't like a traditional smelling amber. But yeah, this is basically just a really resinous amber with sweet pipe tobacco. It's amber and benzoin and labdanum, and I think this one's got some musk in it, and it's so good. It's just amazing. If you like tobacco and you like a really sweet pipe tobacco, I think you would love this. It's so good. It's just so good. I've got so many ambers like this. Ombre Narguilé is like this. I've got, you'll see a Duois fragrance that's really similar to this. I love this kind of an amber. So anyways, that is Boucheron Ombre d'Alexandrie. It's a stunner. Okay, next we have another really pretty traditional smelling amber, and this is Ambre del Sur from Kerner Barcelona. This is such a stunning amber too. I'm gonna say that about every single one of them because I'm kind of obsessed with the ambers, and in my opinion, all of the ambers that I own are phenomenal. So I'm obsessed with all of them. There's another amber that I want so badly. I want the Fort and Manley amber so badly, but it's so expensive. But I think I just saw it on FragranceNet, so I may end up grabbing it because I think it was like $100 less on FragranceNet. I'll have to check to see if they still have it. If they do, I feel like I'm gonna go ahead and pull the trigger. That Fort and Manley amber is amazing. Okay, so I can tell you this one is more woody. It's more of a woody amber. It's got maybe just the slightest bit of kind of a smokiness to it. This one has sandalwood in it though, and it's the sandalwood that gives it the woodiness, but it's a really beautiful kind of sweet, really mellow woodiness. And again, you've got labdanum and patchouli. This one's got myrrh and tonka bean in it, which I adore. It's got a little bit of jasmine in it, and it's just, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a gorgeous amber, and it's funny because I've got so many amber fragrances, but they're all slightly different from each other. None of them smell exactly alike. So, and that's how ambers can be. They can be really, really similar, but they'll all have their own kind of nuances or more prominent notes. Some are sweeter, some are dusty smelling, some are darker and more resinous. There's just such an array, and I love it. But yeah, Ambre del Sur, this one's definitely all about the kind of soft, smooth sandalwood, but it's still an amber. It's like a woody amber, but it's still a beautiful, sweet, resinous amber. I adore it. So anyways, that is Ambre del Sur from Kerner Barcelona. Okay, next we have got a Kayali fragrance. This is Kayali Invite Only Amber 23. This is another kind of apple pie amber, but again, it's totally different from my Ombre d'Alexandrie. This is a more floral amber. So this one has a lot of flowers in it. It's got a lot of rose, which is really prominent. It's got a little bit of cinnamon. This one also has a little bit of tobacco in it. What's special about this though is it's also got a little bit of cherry in it. So it's like this really yummy cherry rose kind of floral amber. This one also has a little bit of oud in it, and you can definitely smell the oud. It's not an overpowering oud, but you can smell it. It's very present. And then it's like amber and vanilla and musk. I think this one's got some cypriol oil in it too, which gives it a little bit of a brightness. And I feel like it kind of tones down the oud a little bit. It's beautiful. This one is a really, really, again, it's like a, it's its own amber. It's similar to other ambers, but this one is more of like a floral amber. So yeah, anyways, that is Kayali Invite Only Amber 23. Okay, and then next we've got another one of my favorites. This is Ambre 114 from Histoire des Parfums. This This is similar to L'Artisan L'Eau d'Ambre Extreme. It's a really kind of traditional, just resinous amber. You're not getting like flowers with this one. It doesn't smell like apples or anything like that. It's just a pretty straightforward amber. It's got a little bit of a dustiness to it. This one isn't quite as sweet. This one has thyme in it, which I love. I love a good aromatic note in really anything, and you can smell the smoothness of the thyme. It's like this beautiful aromatic smoothness. This one has also got sandalwood in it, but it's not as prominent as it is in the Ambre del Sur. It's got patchouli. This one's got vetiver in it as well, which gives it this really beautiful, almost like aromatic lightness. And that really is what this one is about. This one is very, very slightly sweet, almost not sweet at all, but it's very light. It's got a lightness from the thyme and the vetiver. But then it's a pretty traditional amber with patchouli and labdanum and benzoin and vanilla and tonka bean. Anytime I think about which is my favorite, it's always a toss-up between these two. I love them both equally, but it's hard because they're different, but they're similar, but they're different. So yeah, I love them both, but they're just a stunning amber. If I had to recommend a beginner, like a beginning amber fragrance for anybody, I think it would be this one, Ambre 114. Just because it's such an easygoing, smooth, just easy to wear, cozy amber. I just love it. And I love Histoire de Parfum for making these half-ounce bottles that make their fragrances more accessible to people, because they're not so prohibitive with their pricing, which makes me happy. You can usually find, I found mine on Mercari for a really good price. I want to say like $26 or something, but I think you can pick these up for, I can't remember anymore. I'm not going to say because I can't remember anymore. I'll put the price on the screen for you though. They're really, I think they're under $50. But anyways, that is Histoire de Parfum Ambre 114. Okay, next we've got this one here. This is Comptoir Sud Pacifique Vanille Ambre. I just picked this one up not too long ago. I want to say I picked it up off a fragrance net maybe last year. I didn't realize how much of this I have gone through. This is about, it's like a third gone. But when I spray this, I usually spray this. Like I go to town because Comptoir Sud Pacifique fragrances don't last very long. But this is a very, very vanilla heavy amber. This is mostly vanilla, like with a little bit of amber in it. It's a mostly vanilla fragrance though. But it's got this beautiful kind of light resinous quality in the base. This one lasts a lot longer than a lot of other Comptoir Sud Pacifique fragrances. My Eclat, I think it's called Eclat Damans fragrance, that one is really, really good when it comes to performance as well. This one is not bad. But yeah, this one is another one that it doesn't have notes listed, but it's basically like a ton of vanilla, a little bit of amber, maybe like a touch of patchouli, but mostly just like a ton of vanilla and some amber. I love it. It's so good. This one is really, really nice to layer over lotions and things. It just like melts right into your skin and pretty much goes with anything. It's so, so nice. So anyways, that is Comptoir Sud Pacifique Vanille Ambre. Next, we have got this one here. This is Boyfriend. And this one, I go back and forth. Sometimes I'm like, is this an amber? Yeah, it is. This is the original formulation. I still really want to get my hands on the new formulation as well. I have a carded sample of the new formulation, and it is so nice too. This is one of those perfumes that I really, really ration because you can't get this original formulation anymore. And I feel like if I had a bottle of the new formulation that I would wear it more often because I wouldn't feel like I need to ration it. This is only a half-ounce bottle too, so it's just a tiny little bottle. Yeah, this one I definitely do think it's an amber. This one, it's so good. This is like sweet plum and myrrh. It's sweet plum and myrrh, and then it's got amber in the base. I think it's got some kind of a lily in the middle. But really all I get is this beautiful, juicy, sweet, dark purple plum and resinous myrrh and amber. It's stunning, you guys. It's one of the sweetest ambers I feel like I've got in my collection. It just smells good on me. It also reminds me of like the holidays and Christmas because it's like this resinous plum fragrance. It's so stunning. Either formulation is amazing. This formulation is amazing. The newest formulation is amazing. They're both incredible. I can highly recommend either one. I love them. I don't know why I haven't gotten a full bottle of the new formulation. One of the best celebrity scents I've ever smelled in my life, hands down. It doesn't smell like a celebrity scent at all. It's incredible. It's so good. I feel very blessed to have this little bottle of the original formulation, and it's just reminded me that I need to get my hands on the new formulation. So anyways, that is Kate Walsh Boyfriend. It's a very different kind of an amber fragrance. It's a beautiful plummy amber. Okay, next I've got a couple of Duo amber fragrances. The first one is this one here. This is Crater, and this is a clone of Maison Francis Kurkdjian Grand Soir, and this is more of a masculine amber. This one is mostly resins. This one is not very sweet at all. It's got a tiny bit of sweetness from the vanilla, but not a lot. It's a little bit more masculine leaning because it's got quite a bit of lavender in it, but it's like lavender, benzoin, tonka bean, amber, and yeah, this one, it's not spiced really. It's just a really dense, resinous amber. It's really beautiful. This one is great for the depths of winter when it gets really, really cold. This is a perfume that will keep you cozy for sure. It's a very dense, resinous amber. So anyways, that is Crater from Duo. And then I've also got this one here. I used to have Amberlicious, but I decluttered it because I've got so many of those apple pie smelling ambers. I felt like I didn't need it. Plus I've got this one here. This is Amberlicious Cherry. Amberlicious Cherry is Ambre Narguilé from Hermes and Tom Ford Lost Cherry mixed together, and it is incredible. So it smells kind of like that sweet apple pie amber, except minus the apple in this because it's cherry. And it smells like Lost Cherry. It's like Lost Cherry and amber. It smells, in fact, I would say it smells more like Lost Cherry, but if you added amber to the base of Lost Cherry. It's such a good one. If I spray this, it's gonna smell like this in here for hours. Oh my gosh. And it's like a boozy cherry too. It's like a boozy cherry liqueur and amber. It's amazing. This thing is an absolute beast. Almost every single, in fact, I'm gonna say every single amber fragrance that I've got in my collection is a beast. Every single one of these is 8+ hours, except the only one that I would say, well, number one, I haven't given my Kayali one a full wear test yet. I bought this in the middle of the summer, or actually I think it was spring going into summer, so I haven't even tested this one yet, so I can't tell you how this performs. But if I base it on how other Kayalis perform, I'm gonna say probably not great. And then the Vanille Ambre from Comptoir Sud Pacifique. It's okay, I can get 4-ish hours out of this. It's definitely better than a lot of other ones. But other than those two, every single one that I'm gonna talk about is 8+ hours. Just know that moving forward. And the Duos are nuclear. Duo fragrances are just, they're nuclear, and this one is no different. This one is incredible. It's one of my favorites. I say that, but this one really is one of my favorites. I get so many compliments when I wear this perfume because it just smells incredible. I have a huge dent in this too. And this is another one where I'm like, where did this dent come from? Because, oh my gosh. Because I did purchase this myself from Duo, brand new. And I must have used that much because I just love it. It's so good. So anyways, that is Amberlicious Cherry from Duo. It's amazing. Okay, next I've got this one here. This is Michael Kors Sexy Amber, and this is another one that is amazing, but in a completely different way. This is totally different from any other kind of amber that I've got. This is not a resinous amber at all. This is perfumey. It's more skin-like, it's sweet and powdery. It's like a sweet, perfumey, powdery musky amber. I love this fragrance. Sexy Amber is the perfect name for it because it is an incredibly sexy fragrance. It's beautiful. This is one of those that when it warms on your skin, it is just perfection. It does have a slightly vintage, vibe to it though. The florals in it are they're a little bit vintage smelling, and I don't think that this is a safe blind buy at all. I think if you know you love vintage fragrances, if you love vintage florals, if you grew up in the 80s like I did, 80s/90s like I did, I think you would really love this. I think you would appreciate it. But I think if you didn't, if you're like, I would say, I mean, anybody can appreciate fragrances, but I feel like if you didn't grow up with those kind of powerhouse 80s fragrances, that it might not be your cup of tea. It might smell a little bit dated for you. And it's powdery. So if you don't like powdery perfumes, I would definitely stay away too. But boy, do I love this perfume. It is one of my favorites. I told you I was gonna say that about every single one of them, but it really, truly is one of my favorites. It's such an amazing perfume. So anyways, that is Michael Kors Sexy Amber. Okay, this next one I have this is an oldie but a goodie. This has been in every Amber video I think I've ever done. This is Giorgio Armani C'est Le Parfum. This one, I think it still comes in and out of stock on FragranceNet every once in a while. Oh, I love this. This is more of this is another kind of plummy smelling amber. Except instead of plum, there's a ton of black currant in this. When I was a kid, my mom used to make me this black currant tea, and you can still get it. I think it's from Twinings maybe, but it's a black currant tea, and she used to let me put a little bit of milk and sugar in it, and it was amazing. And the way this perfume smells to me reminds me of that black currant tea. So it's this really beautiful, sweet, kind of light black currant and amber. But it does have this kind of astringent tea-like quality to it as well. It's hard to explain because this really, really is a very unique fragrance. I've never smelled anything else quite like this, but that's what I can tell you. It does remind me of that black currant tea that my mom used to make me as a kid, and I absolutely love it. This is another one that I would die to have a backup bottle of this because I do ration this. Just because it's been discontinued, and I love it so much, I just don't want to be without it, but it is amazing. If you ever do see this one, like if you're interested in it and you ever do see this one come back into stock on FragranceNet, I definitely recommend it. It's amazing. So anyways, that is Giorgio Armani C'est Le Parfum. This is another discontinued fragrance, but I have a really, really good, way cheaper alternative for you that smells almost identical to it. This is Gaultier 2. I guess that would be it. Gaultier 2 or Gaultier Squared from Jean-Paul Gaultier. Oh my gosh. This is so, so beautiful. So this one is, again, totally different from any other amber that I've got. This one is really, really bright in the top, as if it had a load of like citrus in it. This one, it doesn't have notes listed for it. It just says amber, vanilla, and musk, but this is really, really bright. It's a very bright amber. Again, as if it had a load of citrus in the top, like maybe a bunch of lemon or bergamot mixed with some lighter resins. It's not like a deep resinous perfume. It's lighter. It's a lighter amber. It's so beautiful, but you can get a perfume or a fragrance from Ted Lapidus that smells identical to this. I have tested them side by side, and the Ted Lapidus fragrance that this smells like is called Altamir. It is very inexpensive. I think you can find it on FragranceNet for, I would say, somewhere between $20 and $30, and it is identical. They are literally identical. I have tested them side by side. You almost can't tell a difference at all, but they're beautiful. I love this perfume. This is another one, I just cherish it because it's been discontinued. I don't talk about this one on my channel often, but I absolutely adore this perfume. I love it so much. So anyways, that is Gaultier 2 or Gaultier Squared. Next, this is another one. This one is newer to my collection. This is actually an oil. This is an oil from Kumba Made, and this is called Amber Paste. And this is an amazing amber oil. This one, it's such a thick oil. It basically just has this paddle. You do just kind of dot it on yourself and then rub it into your skin really, really good. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's amazing. Again, this is a very traditional smelling amber. It's dark, it's deep, it's resinous, it's woody. It's slightly sweet, so you can definitely smell the vanilla in it, but it's so resinous. It's also a little bit almost peppery smelling, like a tiny bit, I would say spicy, but it doesn't really smell like spices. It smells peppery, but mostly because it's just so thick and dense and resinous. It's amazing. If you're looking for a really, really good, very, traditional smelling, dusty bookshop, antique shop, deep, resinous amber, this is such a good option. And for like less than $11, it's amazing. And you only need a tiny dab here and there because it's so powerful. Yeah, so this little tiny bottle is just it's gonna last for a really long time. It's amazing. So anyways, that is Kumba Made Amber Paste. I love it. And then I do have one more oil that is an amber oil, and this is called Musk Amber from Nemat. Somebody had recommended the Nemat vanilla oil to me, and I think I came across this somewhere and I picked it up because I'm just crazy for amber. This is such a beautiful amber as well. This is more, I love oils that have a metal roller ball. They apply the best. So this is a woody amber. Yeah, this is a really woody amber. It's almost no sweetness. It's got a skin-like musk to it. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me a lot of my Nasomatto Nudiflorum. It's got this almost like dirty skin musk, but not dirty in a bad way. But it has this really beautiful, like pungent, kind of dirty skin musk. And then a light resinous amber. It really does remind me a little bit of my Nasomatto Nudiflorum. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. This is the one in my collection that reminds me of like a hippie shop. Oh, it's so good. So good. So anyways, that is Nemat Amber Musk. Okay, I've got 4 more to go. I knew this was gonna be a long video because I've got so many ambers in my collection and I keep collecting more of them. The next one I have is this one here. This is Laura Mercier Ambre Passion. I haven't smelled this one in a long time. This is beautiful. This is a perfumey, kind of slightly floral, light, resinous amber. It's got all the usual notes. It's got labdanum and tonka bean. It's got vanilla and patchouli. It's got a little bit of geranium in it, which is what is giving it that kind of floral quality. And then it's got some musk and I believe some sandalwood, but the sandalwood it doesn't give it much woodiness at all. In fact, I think the sandalwood gives it just a hint of sweetness. So you're getting a little bit of sweetness from the sandalwood and the vanilla. Oh, it's beautiful. I wouldn't say it's overly floral. It's definitely not super floral, but it's a little bit more floral smelling than a lot of the other ones that I've shown you. It's a beautiful one. This is the only other one that I would say isn't the best performer. Everything else I can say you're gonna get 8+ hours out of. This one, I'm gonna say you're probably gonna get 4 or so hours out of it. I will actually end up wearing this one a lot in the heat because it is a lighter amber, and so if I'm craving an amber fragrance and it's warm out, I'll usually go for something like this because it's appropriate. It's not so heavy that it's gonna, kill me in the heat. It's a really nice one to reach for if you're craving amber in the heat, but it doesn't perform well in the heat at all. But it's not it's not usually heavy enough for what I go for in the winter time. So yeah, this is a hard one. This is one of those that ends up just kind of, you know, it just is kind of floating around there in the middle. So yeah, I need to make a concerted effort to use this more in the winter time because it definitely performs better in the winter. But anyways, that is Laura Mercier Ombre Passion. Okay, 3 more. The next one we have is this one here. This is from Victoria's Secret. It is from their pink line and it is called Pink Gold. This has the notes on the back and it just says amber crystals and vanilla. This is a really young, fun, sweet, man killer of a fragrance. This really is a man killer. Anytime I wear this, I get tons of compliments. My husband loves this one. It's just one of those fragrances that smells super youthful, and yeah, it's just one of those, it's a man killer of a fragrance. People love it. It's not like an overly resinous amber at all. It's more of like it is slightly resinous, don't get me wrong, but it's got a ton of sweetness to it. So it's a really sweet, kind of slightly resinous, a little bit dark. It's got a really beautiful skin, kind of like skin musk quality to it. It's really, really nice. I get compliments on this every time I wear it. I love it. This is another one that I wouldn't mind a backup bottle of. I picked this up from Victoria's Secret during one of the semi-annual sales for like $10. I think I saw it in the last sale as well. I'm gonna have to keep my eye out because this is one that I would like to have a backup bottle of. It's just a fun fragrance. It's just a super easy to reach for cozy fragrance. This is one that I wear all year round too. This can easily be worn in the heat, in the cold. It works any time of year. Yeah, and it usually lives like on my desk or wherever, you know, I've got all my perfume. It usually lives out somewhere because I wear it that often. I just love it. It's just an easy breezy, easy for me to wear fragrance. And I love it because it's a really cozy perfume that can be worn all year. I adore it. It's an underrated little gem. In fact, I'm gonna do an updated underrated gems video pretty soon here. Maybe next week I'll do that one because yeah, I've been thinking about that. Like what? I've got so many perfumes in my collection that are such underrated gems. It's, you know what inspired it is that new, Jean-Louis Scherer perfume, Immense Parfum. That perfume is what inspired it because I was like, I've got some really amazing underrated gems. I need to do an updated video. You will definitely see this one in that video because I feel like this really is an underrated gem. So anyways, that is Pink Gold from Victoria's Secret. Okay, next I have this one here. This is from Urban Outfitters and this is called Ambre Etoile. Somebody, thank you to the person who told me how to pronounce Etoile, which I did know that it meant stars or star from having taken French, but yeah, my pronunciation is terrible. But anyways, Ambre Etoile, and this is another like, oh gosh. This is another one. I picked this one up off of Mercari. It's been living on my desk because I just reach for this one whenever. This is gonna be another, it's gonna be another one like the Victoria's Secret one where it's just gonna be one that's like a super cozy, easy to reach for any time of year. This one is sweet. It's just as sweet as the Victoria's Secret pink one, but this one's not resinous smelling really at all. This is more tea-like. It's more of like a really sweet, very slightly spiced tea fragrance, but like a deep, thick, but still light. It's a really light fragrance, but for being a light fragrance, it's really, it's got like a lot of body to it. Again, it's really sweet, it's slightly spiced, and more tea-like than amber, I would say. I really like this one. This one performs terribly though. I can get maybe an hour out of this, if that. It performs really badly. All of these Urban Outfitter, well, not all of them. I have some travel sprays that actually, a couple of them actually perform really, really well. So I won't say that all of them perform badly, but for the most part, these aren't the best performers in the world. But this one smells so, so good. Oh, it smells so good. I just love it. So anyways, that is Ambre Etoile from Urban Outfitters. And then last but not least, you guys, this is another super underrated gem, but a lot of people do know about this and a lot of people I know do have this. This is a fragrance from Halston. This is Halston Woman Amber. And wow, you guys, this might be the deepest amber I've got in my collection. Yeah, in fact, I think it is. This is the deepest amber I've got in my collection. This is a very traditional smelling amber. It's sweet. This is the most vintage smelling amber besides Michael Kors Sexy Amber. This is the most vintage smelling. I love this. And it's funny, every time I think of Halston now, I think of that mini series or that series that they did on Netflix with Ewan McGregor playing Halston. He did such a good job. So this amber, this actually has aldehydes in it, which I think is what gives it that really kind of vintage vibe. But it's got aldehydes. It's also got red currant in it, which I love red currant because red currant is totally different from black currant. Red currant really has a tartness to it. So the red currant really works well with the aldehydes. Yeah, red currant is lighter and brighter and much more tart smelling. And you almost get an astringent quality from a red currant note as well. I love red currant in perfume. And I don't have very many perfumes with red currant in it, but every time that I smell one that I have that does have red currant in it, I'm like, golly, I need to get more perfumes with red currant because it's I feel like it's such an underrated note. It's such a beautiful, kind of, again, tart, a little bit astringent, but still with a berry smell to it. I don't know, it's just beautiful and it works really well with the aldehydes here. This one has also got tuberose in it, but I don't really get the tuberose. You actually can smell it when you first spray it. When I get this on my skin, I don't get a lot of tuberose. You can smell it when you spray it in the air though. I definitely was getting the tuberose, but it's not an overpowering tuberose. It's really, really beautiful. This is such a nice fragrance, but I do also feel like the tuberose contributes to that kind of vintage smell that this one's got. This one also has suede in it, and I usually do not like leather or leather-like notes in fragrance, but the suede in this one just gives it a smoothness without it smelling like leather or suede. I don't get the fragrance of suede. I get more of a feeling of suede. It's got sandalwood and musk, and then olibanum is the only kind of resinous note that it's got. The olibanum is the only thing that really sticks out as amber in my mind. And somehow with all of those notes and only olibanum being the really resinous note in it, it still smells like a very deep, dark, resinous amber fragrance. It's beautiful. I love it. Again, it is probably the deepest amber that I've got in my collection. The darkest, most cold weather appropriate amber. It's so nice. But this one I don't think that this is a safe blind buy because it does have such a vintage vibe to me, in my opinion. But I feel like if you are somebody out there that loves Halston Woman Amber, that you would enjoy almost any other amber on this list. Because again, this is probably the deepest, darkest amber I've got in my collection, and I adore it. This one is like such a steal too. It's such an underrated steal. You can find this for, I don't know, $10, $12 usually. And it's amazing. It smells so much more expensive than it actually is. It's one of those perfumes in my collection that I'm like, I think I paid $12 for it, and it smells like I paid $120 for it, honestly. It smells so much more expensive than it is. It's stunning. So anyways, that is Halston Woman Amber. And that is gonna be it, guys. Those are most of the amber fragrances in my collection. I did leave a few out here and there because, you know, I did want to keep it manageable. I know this video has been super long. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me. I do hope that you all enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you in my next one.